So until 1987, I was away in the village, and I was just doing my usual duty, looking after my family cows. At about 3 p.m. in the evening, I was sitting in a tall grass like this, and all I had was just a gunshot. So I was surprised. I got up from where I was, and I saw 4 militiamen from the north. So as a young child, I thought they were strangers. So I covered myself with the grass, and those militiamen began to steal the cows, began to chase the cow toward northern Sudan. So I got up after they went some distance, I got up from where I was, and I was running home with the goal of warning the family, with the goal of informing the family what happened to the cows. Before I went home, I saw a huge smoke of fire coming out of the village. And as I was coming closer to the village, I was able to hear more shooting. People were being killed. They were being murdered in the village. Before I went into the village, 2 men met me on the way. They were running away from the village. They had already witnessed the atrocities that were being committed by the militiamen in the village. Because there were people like Kazu, they cared so much about others, they didn't want me to go to the village and really witness how bad it is. So they tried to convince me not to go back to the village, trying to tell this is what is really happening. But I thought that the best, I was worried about my family. I was worried about my mom, was worried about my sibling. And my goal was to really go and witness what happened to them and be able to tell them what happened. Later we were standing, they were pacing me and I was pacing them. And I'm a good runner. So I thought that what I would do was to bypass the 2 men and run as fast as I could, and that would be the best way to make it to the village and escape the frustration and the kindness that those people were trying to tell me not to go to the village. But because, again, like the people like Kazi, they didn't want me to go there. They said I think I was 10 years old, so they thought the best way was to grab hold of me, and then they would put me on their back, and then with the hope of running to the different direction because they didn't want me to go and witness. So while this man tried to bend down, he was shot dead in front of me. I literally fell on the ground. The bullets narrowly missed me on either side. Back to that hut, my mom taught me that any single good decision, any good decision you make can save your life. And how could a 10 years old able to remember that great education her mom or my mom taught me to make good decisions? So while I was literally dodging the bullets, I decided I think I need to do what my mom taught me, and that is to make good decisions. And that good decision was to pretend to be dead. That was the best way. So I pretended to be dead. I didn't show any sign of life. And after a couple of minutes, the militiamen left. So I got up from where I was, and I was fine. I went to the village, and nothing was there. It was just collapsed. The burning houses were burning. They were collapsing around me. So I lose hope of finding my family, and I was afraid that had I going to stay there a few more minutes, then there might be a possibility that those militiamen may come back and they would finally kill me. So my goal now is to run and to be able to escape the attack. So it was mostly by this time, I was almost to be eaten by a lion. So I had to climb up the tree, spending the whole night on the tree. The following morning, different people came, and they were from different villages, and they sat under the tree. They began to share their life stories, what happened to them. And again, this was another thing that I need to make good decision. Has been 2 days, I didn't eat, I didn't drink. I was almost starved to death because of hunger, and was still up, and part of the dilemma was, what happened if I maintained silent until those people left? Would be there any other people that would come, or they would? So after that, I made another good decision that I would not survive, and probably if I'm going to spend another night on the tree, then I would be so weak and probably I fell down into the mouth of a lion. That the best another good decision is to rebuild myself. So I revealed myself to the group. They welcomed me down, and they told me to follow them. Because my mom said that if the principle of respect, that if you respect people, you can always be everybody's friend. That everybody will always want to be your friend. If you respect yourself, respect other people. It didn't make sense until this time. While we came toward the Nile, and before we reached the Nile, it has been 2 months after we reached the Nile, and along the way, one of the old men has 2 kids, which were much younger than me. So I bonded very well with them. I took care of them on the way. And one day, one of the old men said that Gabriel is a very respectful child, that he's going to adopt me. Literally on run, he decided to adopt me. And that is the gentleman that helped me to cross the Nile. There was no boats to cross, so we improvised by Paris leave. We made a bundle, and then that is all we had to cross the Nile. We pushed it down, it pushed us up, took up 12 hours. And again, for the first time, I thought my father was a wise man, because as I was struggling, seeing people being swallowed, being eaten by crocodile, other people give up hope of trying hard and work their best. I said, no, I think my father was referring, that mountain is what I'm going through. That mountain is the difficulties, is any difficulty that is you are going through, is any problem that is affecting you. And in order to overcome this mountain, I had to have positive attitude, and I have to work hard. And I think if I do the philosophy of my father, I would survive. I say, I'm not going to remain in the Nile as long as I'm not in the mouth of a crocodile. I need to work hard. I need to have perseverance. I need to work hard. So by luck and by using my parent philosophy, I was able to cross the Nile. We crossed desert for 2 months with limited food. We didn't have any food. So we eat leaves from the tree. We eat roots from the tree. And even in the desert, it's very hard to find what we call really leaves. Again, I was almost to die. I saw several people dying. But again, going back to my dad, that this is a mountain that I need to bring down. And in order to bring this mountain, I need to keep positive attitude, positive mindset. So by luck and by grace from God, I was able to overcome that. Now I came to this refugee camp. I was hospitalized for several weeks. My life was not really good. After 1 year, my life was not really good. I became so bitter about life. I became so disillusional. I tried to avoid socializing with my friend. I was so much traumatized. My life was not good. So in the dream, I think my parents came back in form of a dream. They talked to me in a dream. And they say, Gabriel, no, you're not going to be alive. Remember, because my parents taught me that 10% of your life is what happened to you, and that 10% you don't have control over with. It can be a war, it can be tsunami, it can be car accident. And in order to overcome this 10%, you need 90%. And that 90% is the attitude. The attitude at which you approach the problem measures the resilience and determination to overcome it. That you have to ignore it. That you have to be resilient. So the following day I got up, I had been resilient. When I have a bad day, I say no. As long as it is something that not within my control, I would ignore it. My parents taught me to focus on the positive aspect of the problem other than the negative. Because the more you will focus on the negative part, the more you will not overcome. But the more you focus on the negative aspect, despite the darkest hour of that particular problem, then the more resiliency you have, the more determination you have, and the quicker you will overcome that. So again, I came back to that 1980.